All right, everyone, just give me one moment. All right, Kathy Compton, who do you have?
Oh, Judge, I'm so sorry. I should have put it on there. I have Tavon Washington, and I just need to confer with the prosecutor.
All right, is it criminal trial division or family violence?
CTD, Judge, and I'll change it right now.
Oh, no problem. I just did.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm going to send you.
I was dealing with Samuel, but I don't know if everybody's moved around, so I'm not sure if he's where anymore.
All right, I'll send you to number 3. John Young, I'm going to send you to number 4.
Ma'am, I've already conferred with Michael Villarreal,
Yes.
and we want a trial.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I get a trial date for Mr. Alvarado as soon as possible, please?
Yes, ma'am. Give me 1 second.
All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Young?
Yeah.
We'll see Mr. Alvarado tomorrow for jury.
That is cool. 9 o'clock.
Yes, 9 a.m. Mr. Alvarado, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for jury trial. You'll be brought over dressed for trial in whatever clothing you have at the jail. If for any reason you want to appear in some other clothing, you'll need to speak to your attorney. But we will have you brought over for jury trial tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Can you put me in a breakout room with him, please, Your Honor?
Yes. And Mr. Alvarado, your plea deadline dates after today that passed, the court will not accept any plea bargaining agreements tomorrow. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
It had some real meaning.
All right. So let me find him, Mr. Young. All right, Mr. Young, I'm going to send you to number 5.
Your Honor.
And let me just find your client. Mr. Alvarado, if you go to number 5, please.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Joseph Appel.
Yes, Your Honor. This is I'm on Kathleen Segovia recall from this morning at MTR. I guess if I could touch base briefly with Ms. Sparks, Brittany Sparks, I was conferring with her earlier.
Okay. All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mark Darling.
Yes, Your Honor. Judge Boyd on Martin Gonzalez. I believe all the paperwork is done and we're ready to proceed when the court is ready.
All right, just give us a moment. The court reporter had to run upstairs very quickly, but we'll take that up first thing. James Oldesdorf.
Judge, I'm sorry I'm late. I visited with Mr. Efrain Hernandez last night. He doesn't speak any English. And that's kind of why I went ahead and did some other things earlier on other courts, but he probably needs a Spanish speaker, quite frankly.
All right, just one moment. We'll make that happen. Ms. Ferguson, on James Oldesdorf's client, Mr. Oldesdorf, I'm assuming Mr. Oldesdorf that you're asking to be removed.
Yes, Judge, I visited with him last night. He really doesn't understand anything, and I think he'd be better represented by someone that could, in other words, there's no English at all, so he really needs somebody that speaks good Spanish.
All right, just one moment. We'll make that happen. Ms. Ferguson, if you could see who's up on the appointment order.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and to the deputies, has Ms. Thorne's client appeared? Mr. Garcia?
Jose Garcia, Judge?
Yes.
He was here earlier and he was told to come back at 2.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Thorne, do you have your client's number?
I do, Your Honor. He had to go to a CPS meeting. I told him he had to come back to court, but he had been told that he also had to appear for a CPS meeting. All I'm requesting at this point is a short reset to, I conferred with him about the plea offer and just a reset for him to either accept the offer or set it for trial.
All right. And your client is Jose Garcia?
Jose Guadalupe Garcia, yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Jose Guadalupe Garcia. Put this for a 30-day reset. Do you have all the discovery, Ms. Thorne?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. Again, this I think I must have been the second attorney, so I will look it up. This was kind of all new to me.
All right, we're going to come back on May 17th.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor, and I will definitely give him information.
All right, and be sure to let your client know that his Zoom privileges are permanently revoked. So
Permanently revoked. Oh, so he
yes,
has to be in
permanently
person.
revoked.
So he
So
has to appear in person.
Yes.
Okay. I will inform him that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. May be excused.
Yes. All right, then, Mr. Otersdorf, you can be excused. We're going to see about getting your client another attorney.
Yeah, again, it's not a personality or anything. It's just a bad language barrier problem, Judge.
No problem. I understand. All right. Michael Villarreal, any updates on Rusty Geyer's client?
Yes, Your Honor. I talked or texted with the ADA over protective order, and he said that he was getting the application done this afternoon. And so it should be in the process now. The last time I was able to talk with him was about 11:30 today.
All right, Mr. Geyer, you can try back at 4 p.m. to see if that is done, or either you can come back tomorrow.
Tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. Is it necessary for Mr. Rosales to be present? This is merely a bookkeeping matter, I think, and he just needs to sign the order, and that would be the only thing for him.
Well, if it's not done tomorrow, then he'll need to be here tomorrow.
Thank you, Judge. We'll be here tomorrow.
Okay, but what we'll do is we'll set it tomorrow at Mr. Rosales, if we can set it tomorrow at 11:30. So it should be done before then.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you should receive notice that it's been completed, Mr. Geyer.
Thank you very much, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes.
I'll see you at 11:30 tomorrow.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Anthony Cantrell.
Hi there, Judge. I need to speak to Michael again, if you don't mind, please.
Sure, I'll send you to breakout room number 2.
Thank you.
Oh.
She'll be here in a little bit.
Okay,
She has 15 or 20 minutes.
okay. All right, we'll appoint her then. Yes,
She's been.
okay, yeah. All right, Michael Sawyer.
Computer on Gabrielle Batlan. We're waiting. Everybody broke for lunch, I guess. But
All right, what are you, I'm sorry, what are you waiting on?
just to talk to a prosecutor on that case to confer.
All right, is it criminal trial division or family
Criminal
violence?
trial division.
Okay.
You were having a hectic morning.
Hey, it's every day, but it's a beautiful day though.
Every
see
day,
you.
every day we're on this side of the dirt is a beautiful day.
Yes. So I'm going to send you to number 5.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And we are going to take up Mr. Martin Gonzalez Jr.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, just one second. Wrong person. All right, and who's the prosecutor?
This is Mark Darling.
That's the defense attorney. Mr. Darling, who is your?
I had been working with Marcus Sanders, but Brittany Sparks had also, there was a 2 sets of the same paperwork, so I'm not sure if it's.
All right,
her
Ms.
or Marcus.
Sparks, are you available to take this?
Yes, Judge, I'll step in.
Thank you. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 3447W, State of Texas versus Martin Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Mark Darling, Your Honor.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's motion to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Defense, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, I'm going to show you a document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in in all appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you also understand that your attorney has certain rights, namely 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for trial? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Next, I'm showing you the document entitled Information. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes, Judge.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes. Yes,
If
ma'am.
you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Judge.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Gonzalez, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Next, I'm showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it? And
Yes,
did you understand, according to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. They will take in consideration night mag number 648030, county court cause number 678337, and there's $114 restitution to SAPD for laboratory testing. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Next, state, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours community service restitution. You're to forfeit the weapon, Dan Wesson Arms Model 14, serial number 15288. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Not guilty. Well,
So are you requesting a jury trial?
no.
Then how do you plead to the offense? Guilty, not
Guilty.
guilty, or no
Guilty.
contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea.
Yes, Judge. State offer states Exhibit 1 in all attachments.
Any
No
objection?
objections, Your Honor. No, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
We'd like to, Judge.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Well, I'd ask that you please consider following the plea bargain. Mr. Gonzalez is a pretty sharp young man. I hope that he understands what an opportunity he has to do the right thing here. I know that's not really his behalf, but it bears mentioning.
All right. Mr. Gonzalez, how many children do you have?
I don't have no children right now, but I have a kid on the way right now.
You mean you have a child on the way? As I tell people, kids are baby goats.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I have a child on the way.
All right. And who is the mother of that child?
Um,
What's her name?
Okay,
that's not a good start if you don't remember the name of the person who's gonna.
I know. It's just I haven't. I barely met her, and it's been a while since.
That doesn't even sound good either. But okay, so you barely met someone, and you're having a child with them.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is her name?
Her name is Gabriela Danielle Ramirez.
Okay, that's not a good start, Mr. Gonzalez. I'm not saying it's not a good start to your probation, but it's not a good start to life, right?
Yes.
So how old are you?
I'm 21.
All right. So how far did you go in school?
In school, I was going to school up in New York, Buffalo, because I was living with my mom. I moved when I was 18, and I just came back a year ago. I was going to SSI school to get my diploma.
So how far did you go in school?
8th grade.
All right. So when's the last time you had a job?
The last time I had a job was like about 3 months ago. I was working with my dad. My dad's been there for 30 years at the company for Cram Roofing.
Okay.
I was there working with him for a month, and then I started.
All right. So what's up with the neck tattoo? And let's be honest.
The neck tattoo, I just have them because I like them. I like tattoos.
No, people don't do Texas across their necks just because they like Texas. I mean, people love the state, but not enough.
No, don't get me wrong. I love the state. I got it because I go to different states and I like to represent where I'm from, you know.
Oh, how about when people come up to you and said, "Hey, Martin Gonzalez, how's it going? I'm John Doe. Where are you from?" "I'm from Texas."
Yes.
So really, what's going on with the tattoos, and what's with the cross on the side of the eye?
I'm a little bit of Muslim because my mom, she's married to Arabic, and I just have.
You know how you can't be a little bit of Muslim? I pride myself on studying different religions just because I like to be knowledgeable, and I do know that they don't have. They're not a fan of the tattoos all over the body.
No, I know, ma'am. I know.
Because the body is supposed to be your temple. And under that religion, tattooing the body is akin to desecrating the body.
Yes, ma'am. I just get it because I like to be like a model. Not a model, but you know how tattoo artists have a lot of tattoos. So I just like them.
All right. I mean, you can continue to tattoo your body if you so choose. I always ask these questions because I just wonder.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Other than the word Texas, what else is underneath your neck?
I got the pyramid to the.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. This is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine probated, 3 years deferred adjudication, taking consideration night mag number 648030. County Court Cause number 678337, $114 restitution to SAPD for laboratory testing. You're to forfeit that weapon. And as you know, while you're on probation, you can't own or possess any weapons or ammunition.
Yes,
and the weapon that's being forfeited is a Dan Wesson Arms Model 14 serial number 15288, 150 hours community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of a COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to obtain the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. I'm going to require that he does parenting. Hopefully that will help his future child. So parenting classes, you must complete it. If you complete it, the remaining hours of your community service will be waived. Proof of employment.
Yes, ma'am.
Within 15 days of release. There is to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There is to be no unsupervised contact with minors until further notice. And Mr. Darling, that will, of course, change after he has completed parenting.
Thank you, Judge.
What drugs have you been using other than what's in, I've read in the police report, Mr. Gonzalez?
I'm not gonna lie to you, ma'am. I do like to smoke a lot of marijuana because up in New York State, it is legal. And yeah.
So you're saying synthetic marijuana upstate is legal?
No, marijuana.
Well, so you had synthetic marijuana.
Oh, yeah, that was a while back. I'm not gonna lie, I was smoking a lot of K2, but I stopped that when I was 18 and when I moved.
Okay, so if you're gonna represent Texas, you should know the laws of Texas and honor Texas. So even if New York may allow marijuana, you should say, hey, no, you see this neck tattoo? I'm representing Texas and we don't do that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Norman, let's do a referral to I'm saying, Rebecca, let's do a referral to felony drug court. They may not accept him. Mr. Gonzalez, you're going to stay in custody for your referral to felony drug court. Today is Monday. They'll see you before the week is done. So a referral to felony drug court, if not accepted, then intensive outpatient treatment with probation. See if he's eligible for gang supervision. So we'll do a gang supervision evaluation. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if you can't report by Zoom, it'll have to be in person. And we'll do field visits, random, 2 times per month. And he's to remain in custody for the felony drug court evaluation. Rebecca, is there anything else that he needs?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Gonzalez, is there anything else you need for me to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did
Yes,
you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Gonzalez, good luck to you. Just talking to you as a citizen, right? You may want to not have any more children until you get your life together. So the child that's on the way, if you're going to be a good father, then be in that child's life. If you're not going to be a good father, don't start raising everybody's expectations that you're going to change your life and you know, go on the straight and narrow. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
The last thing a child needs is a father or mother who keeps breezing in and out of their life, making promises that they really deep down inside have no plan to keep. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And instead of getting more tattoos, which they're legal, you can if you want to. If somebody comes up to you and you want to represent Texas, trust me, they'll ask you where you're from, and you can say, I'm from Texas. Okay?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 6. Probation will meet you there and go over conditions. Mr. Darling, you can go to number 6, or either you can be excused.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm just trying to see. Mr. Gonzalez, actually, you know what? I'm going to move you to 7 so you can see it pop up on the screen. All right, Brian Kimbrough, April Zuniga.
Excuse me, Judge, did you want me to go in there or do you want me to stay out?
No, you can go in there.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yes, I believe we have all the paperwork signed, so hopefully you got it and we can do it. This is with Readiness.
All right, your client needs to be sworn in, so I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1,
Okay, thank you.
and I'll send Mrs. Zuniga to number 1.
Mr. Gonzalez, if you can please go to room 7.
How do I do that?
Do you see boxes at the bottom of your screen?
Yes.
Click on the breakout box and it should say go to a room.
Oh, okay, I see it.
Thank you. I'm trying to find your client, Mr. Kimra.
She's under Galaxy A135G.
All right, thank you. I'm going to send her to number 1.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll send you to number 1, Brian.
Thank you.
Jacqueline Laverson, who do you have?
I have David Perez, and I believe he's a CTD case.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 6.
Okay.
Cornelius Cox.
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
My case is on Coleman, and I was speaking to one of your criminal trial attorneys, I think the third chair.
Yes. I think Mr. Coleman, he's on his way downtown.
He's on his way downtown.
Yeah, since he was already driving while he was Zooming, he might as well just drive downtown.
Judge.
Yeah. I know, Mr. Cox, you told him not to Zoom and drive, but you know, he didn't listen.
He's listed as John's iPhone.
I'm sorry, ma'am. Judge.
Yeah, you're supposed to be in the 187 District Court. I don't know why you're on the Zoom.
Because I'm a truck driver, ma'am, and I'm on the road. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call while I was driving. I didn't know I was supposed to be, and they told me, and I just zoomed in. I didn't mean to zoom
Where
while
are
I was
you?
driving. Right now, I'm in Florida.
Cornelius, do you have money to get him a flight from Florida to San Antonio?
Oh my goodness.
No, but I know some folks down in Florida, Judge. I know people. I can get them at a stable Zoom and
well, no, I was able to pull over at a truck stop.
Yeah,
So what are we doing with his case, Mr. Cox?
well, Judge, I will just confirm with the state judge. I just want an opportunity to continue to confer with them. And I think we may even have a resolution by the end of the day.
Okay. All right, Mr. Cox, I'm going to send you to
Okay. All right. So if I can meet somebody in a breakout room, then I can continue to.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 8.
All right. Thank you very much, Judge.
You're welcome. Albert Gutierrez.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
Santos Paulo Serrano, Judge, I have conferred with the state, Mr. Villarreal, and he has given me an offer that is conveyed to my client, but I'd like some time to discuss it with him. It's pretty high.
All right, so with regards to this case, do you have all the discovery?
I believe I do, Your Honor. Well, perhaps minus the, what I don't have is the child safe interview. And I do have a note in the last time I spoke with Miss Caitlin Wilkes. It's been a little while, Judge, but I would need to get down there and see that.
All right, because we were here on November 4th. It was reset for December 1st. Discovery compliance. Defense counsel needs to make appointment with DA's office to view child safe video.
Correct, Judge.
So has an offer been tendered?
Today, yes, Judge, today. Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Can you recall this next month for plea deadline date, please? All right, we're going to come back on May 5th. That's his plea deadline date.
That's fine, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. And you are excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
May I go into the room with my client, Judge?
Yes, just make sure your client comes out of the breakout room.
Okay.
So Mr. Serrano, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Let me see if I can find him on the Zoom screen. All right, Mr. Serrano, to make it pop up, I'll move you to 9. And let me see what breakout room you were in. Mr. Gutierrez, I'll send you to 9.
Thank you, Judge.
Matthew Allen?
Yes, Judge, I'm here on Kendrick Williams, MTR. I conferred with Brittany Sparks this morning, and we're ready on the MTR.
All right, has he signed all the paperwork?
No, both sides are asking to be continued. I'm not sure what paperwork the court needs.
If he's pleading true, then he needs to sign the consent to plea by video.
Okay, I think Norma said she was going to email it.
All right, I'll send you all to breakout room number 2.
Thanks.
Mr. Williams, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Let me find you on the Zoom screen. All right, Mr. Allen, I've sent you to breakout room number 2. And Mr. Serrano, you need to go to the breakout room. Your attorney is waiting for you in the breakout room. All right, Brian Kimbrough, I'm just waiting for them to swear your client in, and then I'll take that matter up. Ben Stevenson, Alexis Morganfield.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Thank you so much for working us in today. We were supposed to be on docket on March 31st, and then the prosecutor was out for honeymoon. We were then moved to last Thursday, and I'm afraid we missed you because you were unavailable. So,
yes, I was at a continuing education course. I like to stay educated.
I understand. I hear it's a good thing. We missed you. So anyway, I have conferred with Michael Villarreal this afternoon. He knows that I will be presenting the bond motions for the court's consideration. He has also conferred with me about the continuing status of these cases. And is he available to the court right now so he can announce those, or did the court want to?
Okay, here's my question. What are we doing today?
Hopefully we're hearing the bond motions.
Okay, so where's your client?
My client is in jail.
No, I mean, he's not on the Zoom screen.
Judge, they had to take him back because he wasn't following the rules, but if you give me just a few minutes, I can have him brought in.
Well, no, wait to bring him back, because then I'm going to take up this other matter that's in the courtroom. I'm going to take up Zuniga, and then I'm going to take up the matter in the courtroom.
Okay. Well, let me know when you're ready.
All right, thank you. All right, after I complete Zuniga, then I'm going to take up the matters in the courtroom. Ms. Zuniga, can you unmute?
Your Honor, we've been having a lot of problems with her cell phone. I don't know, trying to get her speaker isn't working right or something. I don't know what's going on.
All right, Ms. Zuniga, are you driving?
It's just, hello, ma'am.
Yes.
It's just, I'm sorry. It's just because my speaker, like, I guess like because there was like water or something, but like I could hear y'all. Like I'm able to see y'all and hear y'all through speaker, but then like for y'all to hear me, y'all can't hear me. So in order for y'all to hear me, I could do it. It's through the head, like the headpiece.
Ms. Zuniga, we can hear you.
Okay, but is it okay? Like, cause right now, like I'm talking to y'all right now, and I know y'all need to see me on my face, but it's just I won't be able to because of the speaker. I like if I put it on speaker, like in order for y'all to see my face, it won't. I can't talk to y'all. Like y'all won't hear me. So, but if I do the headpiece, then y'all will hear me. But then it won't. But I'm still on camera though. But it's my head against the camera on the phone.
Okay, who is the prosecutor?
Brittany, Judge.
All right, are you okay proceeding unable to see Ms. Zuniga's face?
Yes, Judge, as long as the court is.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 4221 and 2022 CR 3449W, State of Texas versus April Zuniga. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Brian Kimbrough from Ms. Zuniga.
And are you Ms. Zuniga?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video in both of these cases because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection.
Ms. Zuniga, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. We're going to begin with 2019 CR 4221. Did you review a document entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same April Zuniga who was placed on community supervision in 2019 CR 4221 for the offense of driving while intoxicated third or more on November 4th, 2019 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Judge, violated condition number 1 on or about the 19th day of December 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, April Zuniga, committed the offense of burglary of a habitation in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
I played no contest on that.
No, this is the motion to revoke. You either plead true or not true.
True.
State?
Yes, Judge, we waive all other violations.
Any objections to the waivers, Mr. Kimbrough?
No objection.
Ms. Zuniga, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 6 years in the prison and up to $1,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1? Ms. Zuniga.
I'm sorry?
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Can I speak to my attorney real quick? I don't.
All right, Mr. Kimbrough, I'm going to start up another hearing. I'll send you to breakout room number 10.
All right, thank you.
State, are you ready in the courtroom? Mr. Cantrell, what's going on with Ms. Williams?
Judge, the state would like to have a 2-week reset, which I'm not opposing. So that,
why?
Well, she's the case is a little bit complicated in that my client has some mental health issues, and the state wants to confirm. We think we have a plea bargain pretty close to being done, but the state wants to swing it by one of the other. There's multiple cases by one of the complainants, so we're only asking for like a 2-week reset.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, Ms. Rowley. Can you give me a 2-week reset, please? All right, it's going to be April 28th. That's your plea deadline date.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Ms. Ferguson, you let them know that Monique Rowley Williams can go back. Jay Norton.
Good afternoon, Judge. Conferred with the prosecution on Mr. Flores. We have worked out a plea deal. Only question is, when would you like us to do it? I think your prosecutors are a little overwhelmed at the moment. I'm going to be.
Everybody's overwhelmed.
Well, not Ryan or Brittany, but maybe the two that aren't here.
No, they're enjoying their life. So which case is Eric Flores? Is this criminal trial division?
Yes, ma'am. Criminal trial. And I'm going to be downtown at the courthouse if the court would let us plead tomorrow morning, give an opportunity to go over the paperwork.
Is your client in custody?
He is not, ma'am. He is on bond. And it's it's a time offer.
All right, state, is there a difficulty doing the paperwork or no?
Not particularly, Judge, but it is one where he would have to be taken into custody, and I think he's on Zoom.
All right, well, we could do the plea and he can present himself tomorrow.
Okay.
We can do that.
We'll work on it as soon as we can, Judge.
All right, thank you.
And Ryan, could you just text me when it's done? And I'll
Yeah,
send Norma the email info.
All right, thank you. All right, so Pat Montgomery,
I excuse, Your Honor.
is that Mr. Flores?
I don't know what to do.
Is this Mr. Flores?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, you're not excused. Your attorney is going to receive some paperwork so that you can sign the paperwork.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
So,
And what I'll do, Mr. Flores, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. And Mr. Norton, I'll assign you to 2, but you'll be able to move in and out of that breakout room as you choose. All right, Mr. Montgomery.
Judge, if I could, I asked Pat and he didn't have an objection to it. Our second contested, I think we resolved it. Can we take that one up real quick so we can?
Yes.
Okay. And it's with Ms. Sosa.
Okay, and what's the name of the case?
Jesse Martinez Garza.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 5989, State of Texas versus Jesse Garza. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Rose Sabelle Sosa, Your Honor.
And are you Jesse Garza?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. However, the court will note for the record that defense counsel and the defendant are in the courtroom. Any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Garza, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
He actually physically signed it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Garza, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Jesse Martinez Garza who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 5989 for the offense of assault family second offense on August 18, 2021 for a period of 2 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Judge. Violated condition number 1, that on or about the 5th day of January 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Jesse Martinez Garza committed the offense of assault in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True. We'd waive the remaining conditions on the motion, Judge.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Garza, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in the prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
There is, Judge. We have an agreed recommendation. We'd ask the court to enter an adjudication of guilt and find Mr. Garza guilty and sentence him to 4 years TDC on the MTR. And in consideration for his plea, the state will TIC cause number 2022 CR 3497.
Is that the agreement, defense?
That is the agreement, Your Honor, and we would be requesting the 157 days he has of credit.
All right. Mr. Garza, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will follow your agreement. As previously stated, the court is finding violation of condition number 1 true, finding you guilty, not granting you community supervision, sentence you to 4 years in the prison, taking consideration 2022 CR 3497. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. There's to be no contact with Robert Martinez, and the court will give you credit for any time served. Anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
Not from the state, Judge. I'll submit a motion on that cause number.
Mr. Martinez Garza, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Good luck to you. I hope you do better with your life. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in and out of jail, in and out of prisons. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So whatever your anger issues are, you need to get a control of those. All right? All right, good luck to you. Ms. Sosa, I do have copies of the trial court certification of defendants' rights to appeal in chambers.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. All right, are we ready on Ms. Zuniga?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe we're ready to go forward.
No.
All right, we're back on the record in 2000. All right, we're back on the record in cause number 2019 CR 4221. Ms. Zuniga, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 6 years in prison and up to a $1,000 fine? Did you understand? I cannot hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there an agreement?
We're asking that you deny the motion, continue her on probation, and run it concurrent with the plea agreement in, and Judge, I think I got the cause number correct, but 2022 CR 1449W, the one she's about to plea on.
All right, I have 2022 CR 3449W.
Okay, that's probably
correct.
correct, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Zuniga, are you asking that the court follow that agreement?
Ms. Zuniga, yes, we are asking.
All right, can you?
Yes, please. Yes, yes.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes.
All right, then the court will follow your agreement. And as previously stated, the court will deny the motion and run this concurrent with cause number 2022 CR 3449W. Next, we're going to proceed in cause number 2022 CR 3449W. Ms. Zuniga, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Ms. Zuniga?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you not able to find a place other than a commercial restroom?
Okay, no, I just came out of there. Sorry. Because I was in like right here at my son's school. for the pickup.
Okay.
Sorry.
So no, is there some other place other than a restroom? We don't want to hear toilets
Oh,
flushing.
no. I mean, no, yeah, I already came out of there. It's just because I was in my son's school, like picking them up. So I'm like, I'm not in the restroom.
So did you just leave the restroom?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you review a document entitled Waiver of Indictment, Reading of Information and Rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand you have a right to have a grand jury hear the evidence in this case and make a decision on whether or not to indict?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you also understand that your attorney has certain rights, namely 2 days from the presentation of the information and 10 days from the presentation of the information to prepare for jury trial? Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived reading of indictment. Waived indictment, reading of information and rights under Article 1.051 and 26.03 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Did you review the document entitled Information with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes. I mean, yes, I did. It's just, I mean, it was like, I mean, because, yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Zuniga?
Yes.
I don't understand if you're super distracted at what's going on. My questions that I'm asking are straightforward questions.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you not understand what's going on?
No, I do. It's just, I mean, it's like either like, I mean, it's like I've been in this system like several times, and like, I mean, there's times like I'm real, like if I know what I've done, like it's just like the scary part is when you hear
Let's
like,
do this,
oh,
Ms. Zuniga. Ms. Zuniga?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think it would make everything go smoother if you would stop using the word like.
Okay. Okay.
So, do you understand what's going on?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you distracted?
No.
All right, so what I need you to do is I need you to answer my questions. My questions are pretty straightforward questions. Are you able to do that, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still at school?
I'm right here in the building because I pick up. Do you want me to step out the school?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay, I'm out the school.
All right. Did you review a document with your attorney entitled Information? And did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the information?
I do.
State, are you proceeding on the information as presented?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review a document with your attorney entitled Court's Admonishment and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with burglary of a habitation by force? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Ms. Zuniga, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone offered you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Did you review the part of the document entitled plea bargain page?
Yes.
According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,000 fine to be probated. State recommends community supervision, and this will run concurrent with 2019 CR 4221. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Outside the pre-bargain agreement, the state is recommending that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There be 120 hours of community service restitution, substance abuse treatment facility, no contact with John Henry Cavazos, Michael Martinez, and Elizabeth Martinez.
Excuse me, ma'am. On the substance abuse, if I did that with my probation on DWI, do I need to do that again?
Excuse me, Ms. Zuniga. I'm just going over things with you right now. So again, if you will pay attention to the questions that I'm asking you. Did you understand that those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged in the information. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Offer States Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objection.
Ms. Zuniga, did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence States Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing, see, Ms. Zuniga, you are not out of the restroom. You are still in the restroom.
I know. I had to come back inside.
Yeah. All right, after reviewing States Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I would ask the court to follow the plea bargain. In terms of drug treatment, I believe that outpatient drug treatment is appropriate. According to the court summary from probation, she's essentially negative on her test since 9/30/20. She did have a failure to submit in 2/26/21, but she took another test on 3/1/21 that was negative. She's been negative ever since, and she was negative before. Don't believe that she has a drug issue that would warrant inpatient. Plus, she has 3 minor children that she takes care of. She's with them now at the school, picking them up.
So was she taking care of those children, and was she taking care of the children on December 19, 2021?
I I believe that.
They were with their dad.
Probably taking care of them, but I'm not sure.
So Ms. Zuniga, you only break into homes when your children are not with you?
I didn't break. No, I don't do
Oh,
that.
no, au contraire, mon frère. Because it says in the police report that you and this other party were seen on the Ring doorbell running from the home. And that means running from inside the home.
It showed him in the first video, ma'am, that he entered and he entered, and in the second video, that's when I noticed. I found out that he was in my neighbor's house, and that's when, if you see me, I didn't come in to like when I went to go see where he was at, he was right there in my neighbor's house. But yes, I did
Victim
enter,
one
but
called
to
the
attempt
police
to get out.
again to advise her neighbor S1 and her boyfriend S2 were observed on victim one's surveillance video inside victim's residence while victim was not at the location. So the surveillance video shows you inside the location.
And like, he went in the first
No,
5
you went
minutes.
in the house too, Ms. Zuniga.
I went after, like a couple of minutes after, ma'am.
Where's her PlayStation? You know
I
how
told them,
expensive it is to get that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, and I do apologize. I did tell the DA where we were, everything, where he told me where he sold it at, and I say I'm not one to do that.
Here's the thing: don't apologize to me. You didn't steal
No,
my
I don't. I
PlayStation.
apologize. No. I don't. I did apologize to her. I've been there for 4 years. Never once in my life I would do something like that. The fact that I crossed this individual and like he was like he was on pills and all that, and he took over like my keys and everything was like
No, it says that, Ms. Zuniga. It says that this is your boyfriend. So how old are your children?
They're 15 and one is 10 and 11.
So you're telling me some guy that you just ran across, you letting him be around your children?
I didn't even let him be around. Like I said, my kids were with their dad for the winter break.
So again, you decided to go steal items out of your neighbor's house.
I didn't steal no items, ma'am.
Do you want a jury trial?
No, I just want to just.
Victim allowed me to view her surveillance video. I observed S1 and S2 running inside victim's residence.
I mean, and my attorney were looking at the minutes where it showed him, and like 5 minutes he was doing everything, and then it just shows me on the second, like a couple of minutes later, that's when I came in and I told him like to get out. Like I kept telling him like get out. Like why was he in there? I go, but you don't see me with anything like in it.
Yeah, if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
They should be negative because I just did my UA with my probation officer this month.
You're going to do another UA.
Yes, I'm supposed to do a UA. I'm supposed to have a probation visit on Friday.
No, you're going to do a UA tomorrow. So what are the results going to be from your UA tomorrow?
I'm sorry?
What are your UA results going to be from tomorrow?
They should be good, but on Friday, that's when I go with him. Is that fine?
No, you're not doing it on Friday. You're doing it.
I have classes.
You're doing a UA tomorrow. So we're going to sentence you to 4 years in prison, suspended and probated for 4 years, $1,000 fine probated. This is run concurrent with 2019 CR 4221. 120 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if she provides proof of the COVID vaccination. I'm not requiring anyone to get the COVID vaccination, but if she does, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes. Ms. Zuniga, I wish there was a class I could give mothers and fathers that was some kind of class, Ms. Zuniga, that was some kind of class to say, stop letting complete strangers around your children in your children's life. But I don't have that type of class. So parenting classes, if she completes parenting classes, Mr. Kimbrough, she won't have to do the remaining hours of community service.
Okay.
And excuse me, sorry, ma'am. Actually, I'm in road.
I'll speak to you after, Ms. Finnegan.
There's to be no contact with John Henry Cavazos.
You're gonna have to reach out to the father.
Michael Martinez,
To you.
Elizabeth Martinez, and Ms. Zuniga, if I could make it so that you're not involved with anyone until your children are of age and can take care of themselves, I would, but I don't have the ability to do that. So this other guy who was in the, who ran into the place, what's his name? That's the John Henry Cavazos?
Yes, ma'am.
And who is George Zuniga?
He's my dad, which he passed away a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, ma'am, but like that's why the parenting class I'm actually already enrolled, and that's why like tomorrow I have that
Just a
going
moment.
on.
There has to be
then-
regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Proof of
Yes.
employment within 15 days.
Okay.
There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And there's to be a UA tomorrow.
And
by
ma'am,
3 p.m.
if I like that's the thing. Like I'm going for I have my parenting class scheduled tomorrow, and with also that being said, I also have my interview that they're giving me, to do for my kids, and it's just like that's why I have everything scheduled on Friday with my CPS worker. With my probation officer, and that's when I go. He scheduled me to do my UA, and I said, okay, that's fine, and like so it could fit my schedule, and then I do my community like I'm trying to do everything I can in my classes.
Ms.
So
Zuniga,
I'm
here's
already
the thing.
enrolled.
Ms. Zuniga, I'm concerned, and I think you need to do a UA tomorrow. If you're able to get one done today, then you can do it today. All right,
Yeah,
so
no, I have
there's
my
to be
kids.
regular reporting by Zoom or in person. If she's positive, then I'm going to want intensive outpatient treatment with probation and a referral to felony drug court. And there'll be regular UAs, field visit 2 times per month, random. Rebecca, is there anything else she needs?
No, ma'am. And to verify, if positive, that's if positive, then do the felony drug court referral.
Yes, and then if felony drug court doesn't accept her, then intensive outpatient treatment.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Zuniga, did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, I understand it, but like it's like me
Because
being
this is a
negative.
plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what the definition of a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Zuniga, we're off the record. I want to explain something to you. I've been a defense attorney. I've been a prosecutor, and I've done CPS cases. Your attorney has done CPS cases. Let me tell you what I used to always see. What I would always see is you would have a female meet some guy who knows where, sometimes at a bar, sometimes at a bus stop, wherever. They would meet them on Friday, bring them to their house on Friday. They never leave. Next thing you know, they're babysitting the children. And then in the words of Seinfeld, yada, 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 either a child is raped or a child is killed, and mom is crying because she's let some complete stranger around her children. So in this situation, you have some random guy that you said you didn't know that well, breaking into a neighbor's house, stealing things, and now you have a burglary of habitation. So you need to be very careful, one, who you allow around your children and who you allow around yourself. And with that being said, I'm going to send you to a breakout room, and probation will go over conditions with you. Mr. Kimbrough, thank you for your patience. And you can either go to a breakout room with your client or you can be excused.
I'll go to the breakout room. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to send you all to number 11.
Hold on. Okay. So you're saying that I can't get my breathalyzer?
Ms. Zuniga, you need to go to breakout room number 11. Wow, schools look different than I last saw them. Brenna, do you remember schools looking this way? That can't be the principal's office. That's a terrifying scene. Although I love schools, so I apologize to all the principals out there. But that does not look like school grounds. And maybe one day she will go to the breakout room.
I think she logged off, Judge.
Well, we've done all we can do, Rebecca. If you would like to go to number 11, maybe her attorney can have her come back.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, in the courtroom,
Yes, Judge.
how many witnesses do you all have?
We have 5, Your Honor.
Okay, just give me one moment. That made Cornelius perk up, right?
I'm awake now. 5.
All right, are you ready to proceed on Mr. John Henry? I'm sorry, John Henry Coleman?
Well, Judge, nobody ever, you sent me to a breakout room, but I was alone. No one ever showed up. Because I think the prosecutors are in the courtroom.
Well, they
I
can
can
still
see-
show up to your breakout room. I'll see.
They didn't come, so I'm still waiting to.
All right, I sent you to number 7.
Okay, maybe that'll be lucky 7. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Who's the parties on Kendrick Williams?
Matthew Allen for the defense. And I believe Brittany was handling the other side.
All right, the court is calling 2019 CR 1470 State of Texas versus Kendrick Williams. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Matthew Allen.
Are you Mr. Williams?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon. We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
No objection.
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
What does that mean? What's the difference?
We'll find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled, they gave me the wrong file.
Putting up to the truck. I remember them announcing this. I don't know, boss. If you're the one that knows how to.
All right, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
Are you the same Kendrick Williams who's placed on community supervision for the offense of burglary of a habitation force on October 2nd, 2019 for a term of 8 years? Is that you?
That is correct.
State?
Violated condition number 2, on or about the 31st day of August 2021 in Travis County, Texas, the defendant Kendrick Williams did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely marijuana, in violation of condition number 2.
How you plead to that? True or not true?
True, Your Honor.
State?
We'll waive all other violations, Judge.
All right, Mr. Williams, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 8 years in the prison and up to a $1,500 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to a violation of condition number 2?
I do, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement?
No, Judge, there's not.
All right, the court is finding violation of condition number 2 true. State, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're asking that you deny the motion and alter and amend his probation to include ISF followed by aftercare.
Defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, we're requesting that he be continued on his probation with increased UAs and outpatient treatment. He's been in custody since, I believe, December 27th. I believe his prior attorney passed away, which is why it's taken him over 3 months to come to court. But as far as the marijuana violation, I believe it was from a vape pen that he didn't know it was marijuana, but he accepts responsibility. He has to know what's being put into his body, and he has to be smarter than that when he's on probation. Also, he was, at the time that he was picked up, he was actually going to DPS to try to get his ID because he's going through the Center for Healthcare Services for mental health treatment. He has bipolar and schizophrenia. So he was receiving treatment through the Center for Healthcare Services. And we would ask that the court make that a condition for that to be continued. He also was getting housing through Haven for Hope, but they were trying to get him more permanent housing as well. So he seemed like it was on the right path. But again, he picked up obviously the MTR and now has been in custody for a little over 3 months. So that's why we're asking for the court to do outpatient with even weekly UAs.
All right, Mr. Kendrick Williams, here's the thing. I can go ahead and deny the motion and try to get you more help. I don't know if you want help or not. Sometimes people don't want it. You know, you can't force somebody to do right. The vape pen, yeah, people pretty much know what's in a vape pen. So here's the thing. I can do whatever I make the decision to do, or either you can have another choice. If you want, I can revoke you, send you to prison, and I will send you to prison for 2 years. Or we can continue to try to work with you. It's completely up to you, but you know you better than I know you. You know you better than the state and the defense knows you. So here's the thing. If you want help, we're here to give help to you. But if you're not going to take advantage of the help, then we're not going to keep giving it to you. Yes.
May I say
Gloria.
something, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, I thank you for everything that you are doing. I want to show my appreciation. I also want to show that I am honest about my recovery as well as my probation. I was willing to do weekly UAs. I'm also wanting
But
to just
no, Mr. Williams, here's my question. My question is, do you want to go to prison? I will give you 2 years now. Or do you want to, for us to continue to try to work with you? That's completely up to you.
I want for you to continue to work with me, ma'am.
All right, so here's the thing, Mr. Williams, you can't be using marijuana. And to me, vape pens, that's just another addiction. Usually people trade their addictions for another addiction. So when you have people who are addicted to marijuana or drugs, you know, next thing you know, they're smoking cigarettes. And they're like, well, cigarettes are illegal, but you just trade it for another addiction. Or sometimes people just start eating a lot. So you're just trading one addiction for another addiction and you have not addressed the issue. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
So I'll deny the motion to alternate amend conditions to include intensive outpatient treatment with probation, the UA hotline, continue with mixed supervision, and we'll do field visits 2 times per month, random. And continue with Center for Healthcare Services. All right, good luck, Mr. Williams. I'm going to send you to a breakout room with probation there, go over conditions with you. Yes, Mr. Williams.
I just had one question. As for the MIC, that's the mental health probation, or?
Yes.
And will I be able to be released so I can tell my family about the
Yes.
situation? Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you very much, ma'am. And I won't let you down.
All right, you're welcome. And Mr. Williams, I do remember that you were supposed to be going to Safe Peace Special Needs. So I do remember this case.
Yes, ma'am. I did finish Safe P. I just got in trouble at the halfway house for the marijuana smoking the CBD vape pen, ma'am.
All right, and you know you still need to get a place on your own, and the same conditions with your no contact and everything remains the same. You understand?
I know. No being in the Denver Heights area. I remember everything very well, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So I'm going to send you to breakout room number 10. Ms. Reyes, you can go to number 10. And Mr. Williams, you can go to number 10.
Thank you. And thank you again, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, you all have been patiently waiting in the courtroom, so we're going to take this matter up. And what is the name of your client, Mr. Montgomery?
McDaniel, Your Honor.
Is McDaniel in the courtroom? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, he's here. Oh,
Judge, can they set up the witness iPad?
Yes, Deputy Laura, could you do the witness iPad? All right, guys, as soon as the witness iPad is set up, we're going to take that up. I keep saying we're going to take it up and it's not happening. All right, Joseph Appel.
Yes, Judge. I was actually in a breakout room waiting to confer with Brittany Sparks, but she's been very busy in the courtroom regarding my client with an MTR, Kathleen Segovia. So I'm not sure what you want to do, Judge.
Just give us a moment.
That'll work, Judge. How long of a moment? Because it looks like you got 5 witnesses that are going to be coming here.
I don't, I don't know if that's gonna, I don't know if they really have 5 witnesses. Sometimes people overestimate.
Okay. The reason why I ask is I've got to leave in about 5 minutes, go get my son across the street from school and come back in about 20 to 25.
Oh, no, go, make sure you get your son.
Okay, then I'll stay logged in, but block everything out, mute everything then, Judge.
All right, thank you.
I'll be back in about 20 to 25.
All right, thank you. Okay. All right, what is happening with Alexis Morganfield?
Your Honor, you called it earlier, but he was no longer in the video area of the jail. He had bond on 3 felony cases, and then suddenly in February of this year, he did not. 2 of those were bench warrants based on a violation report. The 3rd one was an off bond by a local bondsman. We have filed motions in each of these 3 cases simply to have his bond amounts reestablished so that his family can bond him out, have that opportunity. Under the 8th Amendment of the Constitution, excessive bail shall not be required. He has been on $50,000 bail on each of the 2 cases, the 2 sex assault cases, and $20,000 bail on the robbery case. He has never missed a court date.
Well, it's not about him missing the court date, Mr. Stevenson. It's about the court receiving notice of out-of-county cases. Now, whether they're true or not, the court doesn't know. But the court received notice that he picked up another offense out of county.
Your Honor, that offense, I'm sorry, that offense is alleged to have happened before he was even arrested in these cases for which he is on bond. It's a very old allegation. It dates back all the way to 2020. He was not even arrested on these cases until 2021. So he has not violated his bond in this way, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Have you conferred with the state?
I've conferred with Michael Villarreal, Your Honor.
And do you all have an agreement or no?
I cannot speak for Mr. Villarreal.
Well, I mean, do y'all have an agreement or no?
Let me talk to him for a minute, Judge. I'm sorry. It's been a hectic day and I didn't even think that far ahead. Maybe we could make an agreement. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. All right. If you could send Mr. Stevenson to whatever breakout room you would like to meet him in.
Yes, Judge.
All right. And we'll take up this matter. Frederick Abraham. And Ms. Ferguson, can you have them print out the docket for a Zoom hearing, please?
I'm sorry, Judge.
If you can print out a sheet for them to agree to appear by Zoom.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Jay Norton.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We're just awaiting paperwork. I've got the packet from Norma and I'm waiting on the packet from the state.
All right, thank you.
And Judge, I apologize. I had to go to an out of
Oh,
And I
no.
can't go back to the breaking Mr. Flores's.
Okay, no problem.
And Judge, we have the paperwork is, Family Violence is assisting us on that one. So
All right.
I'll send it to Mr. Norton shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm working on
Thank
that
you.
right now.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 6651, State of Texas versus Frederick Abraham McDaniel. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer and Brittany Sparks for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Pat Montgomery for the defendant.
And are you Frederick Abraham McDaniel?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may be seated. All right, we're proceeding by video. The court will note for the record that the defense counsel and state are in the courtroom. The court and the court reporter are in separate chambers. Is there any objections to us proceeding by video, state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Defense?
Insofar as the testimony of any witnesses presented by the state, since this case will come down 100% to the ability of the witnesses to identify the defendant, we would require that they appear in person pursuant to
No,
our.
Mr. Montgomery, the witnesses will appear in court.
Well, I thought so, Judge. It's just that when you said, I'm so afraid of those words, no objection. I don't mind you not being here down the hall, but I want to see the witnesses in the courtroom, Judge.
Yes. So is there any objection to?
None, Judge.
The judge being in chambers and Ms. DeMoss being in her chambers?
None, Judge.
All right, thank you. Mr. McDaniel, did you review 2 documents with your attorney entitled Motion to Revoke Community Supervision and State's Motion to Supplement Pending Motion to Revoke Probation?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And did you understand those documents?
I did, Your Honor.
Are you the same Frederick Abraham McDaniel who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 6651 for the offense of evading arrest, detention with a vehicle on October 18, 2021 for a term of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state. You may be seated, Mr. McDaniel. And for all parties in the courtroom, it's easier for the microphones to pick up everything if you remain seated. The court does not take that as a sign of disrespect. So if you'll remain seated, please. State.
Yes, Judge. Off the original motion to revoke community supervision, violated condition number 1, that on or about the 27th day of October 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Frederick Abraham McDaniel committed the offense of unauthorized use of a vehicle in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
That is not true, Your Honor.
State.
Judge, off of state's motion to supplement pending motion to revoke probation, Judge, violated condition number 1, that on or about the 26th day of October 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Frederick Abraham McDaniel committed the offense of robbery in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Not true, Your Honor.
All right. For the record, the defendant has pled true, not true to both allegations in the motion. State, are you ready to proceed?
We are, Judge.
All right, state, call your first witness.
Judge of the state would call Cynthia Perez.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you could lower your hand, please, and make sure you speak up if you could state your name for the record.
Cynthia Perez.
All right, state.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, I'm sorry, Ms. Perez, could you introduce yourself to the court and tell them what your name is and who you work for?
Cynthia Perez, I'm the supervision officer at the adult probation.
And Ms. Perez, can you tell me, prior to today's hearing, did we ask you to review a probation file?
No.
Well,
the court summary.
That's correct. Did you review a probation file regarding a certain defendant?
Yes.
Okay. And did you review that probation summary?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me who that probationer is?
McDaniel, Frederick.
Can you tell me what is your relationship to that probationer as an employee of the Bexar County Probation Department?
I'm his supervision officer.
Have you had much contact with Mr. McDaniel during your time as his probation officer?
No, sir.
Okay, can you tell us why?
He was assigned to me when he was granted, and he picked up the new number 1.
Okay. And so when he picked up the new number 1, what happened that you didn't get to see him in?
He was arrested, so I issued the MTR.
Judge, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1. You mentioned that you reviewed a court summary packet.
Yes.
Is that the court summary packet that I'm talking about in State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes.
Okay. In your employment at the Bexar County Probation Department, are you a custodian of records of the records that are produced by the probation department? Okay, let's talk about it this way. Do you have the ability to access any records that Bexar County Probation makes in terms of probationers?
Yes.
Is there a system that you guys have to keep those records?
Yes.
And are those records, are they made at or around the time that whatever the records indicate happened?
Yes.
Okay. Is that kept in the normal course of business in the Bexar County Probation Department supervising probation officers?
Yes.
And you are able to access those, correct?
Yes, I am.
The people who make those entries in the probation summary, are they people who have some knowledge of the things that they are putting in there?
Yes.
Okay. Now, regarding State's Exhibit number 1, is that the probation summary for Frederick McDaniel?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Can you tell the court when Frederick McDaniel was granted probation?
October 18th, 2021.
And in your review of the probation file and the probation summary, well, let's talk about it this way. Whenever someone is granted probation, are there conditions that they have to follow as conditions of them being on probation?
Yes, sir.
In Mr. McDaniel's case, was he read conditions of probation that he would have to follow as part of his supervision?
Yes.
Can you tell us what condition number 1 is as a part of probation?
Neither commit nor be convicted of any offenses.
So the condition is if they commit new offenses, that's a violation of their probation.
Yes.
And in reviewing Mr. McDaniel's file, was that something that was read to him after he was granted supervision?
Yes.
And did he initial or sign on those conditions whenever they were read to him?
Yes.
And there's other conditions, but the one I'm asking you about is condition number 1, correct? I'll pass the witness.
Defense.
This witness, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
I do not intend to recall her, Your Honor.
I don't intend to recall her either, Judge. I believe she's excused.
All right, you're excused. State, call your next witness.
Thank you. State calls Martin Gonzalez.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State.
Juan Gonzalez.
No, that's okay. People always do that.
that's
State,
okay.
you may proceed with your questions.
I apologize for the inconvenience.
Oh, no problem.
Juan, how are you currently employed?
I work for HEB as a QA technician.
And do you remember the night of October 26th?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you doing?
I was leaving a AA meeting.
And when you were leaving the AA meeting, what happened?
I was robbed at gunpoint. Well, you want me to go in details or?
Let's break that down a little bit. After your AA meeting,
Oh,
what did you do?
I remember me and two other friends were hanging outside in the street, talking to each other like we always do. And then I saw the defendant pull out a gun. He clocked the casing, you know what I'm saying? I clocked the gun. And then from there on, he pointed the gun at us. I thought he was asking for money. I guess the shock got to us. And then he's all like telling us, whoa, this is words. I apologize to the court. He's like, oh, give me the fucking keys. And he was demanding the keys for the black Dodge Ram. And at the time, I was not aware that the truck belonged to my friend. So we kept saying it's not ours. So then he kept pointing the gun at us, assuming it went to right. And then I guess he got irritated and shot my friend's Volkswagen. And then that's when I tossed the keys towards him. He caught the keys and then he walked away. He tried to use the keys to open up the black Ram. And I told him that wasn't my truck. So I told him the Ford Ranger was my truck. And then that's when he took off.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. Do you remember the location of your AA meeting?
Yeah, it's right there off Zamora.
And is that here in San Antonio, Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you said as you were outside of the facility, you saw a man walk up to you and your friends.
Mm.
And then and what time of day was it?
It was around 10:30ish at night.
At night?
Yes, at night, 10:30.
And do you know which way he started walking up to you from?
So if you're outside the building and you're facing the street, he was walking from the right-hand direction towards us.
Did you recognize him when he was walking towards you?
I'd never seen him.
What brought your attention to look at him?
I saw him, somebody walking by, so I just turned left. So have looking left to right.
Okay, and once you noticed him walking towards you, what did you see?
I saw him taking out his gun and he was clocking, pulling I'm not familiar with terminology of weapons, but he was pulling the gun, the casing on top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once he pulled the top of the gun back, what did he do after that?
He pointed the gun towards us.
He pointed the gun at you and your friends?
Yes.
Okay. Once he pulled the gun on you guys, what did he do after that?
He said that he started waving the gun and he was asking for the keys to the truck. He gave me the fucking keys.
Okay. And did you give him the keys?
First, no. I only gave him the keys until he shot my friend's car.
Okay, what did he do after you told him no?
He started getting agitated, like he was very demanding on it. It happened so fast, so it seemed like forever, but like I'm assuming it was fast. And then when I told him no, I think it was the second or third time, he got irritated, and that's when he shot my friend's Volkswagen.
And after he shot your friend's Volkswagen, what did you do?
I tossed the keys towards him. I was scared I didn't make a shot, so I just gave him the keys. So.
And once you gave him the keys, what happened after that?
He proceeded to walk towards the black Ram, and he tried to use the keys to open up that truck. And I told him that that truck wasn't mine. The keys were for my truck in the front. And that's when he took my truck.
And what kind of truck did you own?
I owe a 2002 Ford Ranger V6.
And did you give him permission to drive your vehicle?
No.
And Juan, after he got the keys to your car and proceeded to get into your car, what did you do?
I called the police.
And at some point, were you shown a group of photographs in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you remember when this occurred?
It happened like a couple weeks later after the incident.
And where did they show you this group of
At the
photographs?
police station.
What kind of room were you in?
An office.
Did anyone in any way suggest to you who the suspect was?
No.
What instructions were given to you?
I was given to identify the individual that brought my truck.
How many photos were you shown?
I was shown 6.
Did you have plenty of time to observe each photo?
Yes.
Was one of the photographs of the person who committed the crime?
Yes.
And did you recognize him?
Yes.
During the course of the police investigation, were you ever shown any other photographs?
No, just those 6 photos.
And did you ever identify anybody else besides the defendant as the one who committed the crime?
No, just the defendant.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 2. Do you recognize these photographs?
Yes.
And are they the photographs that were shown to you by the police?
Yes.
And was that on November 4th of 2021?
Yes, yes, it was. Yes, number 4. It was at 10:45 a.m. It's my signature.
Okay. And which individual is the one who committed the crime?
Number 2. With that sign that they.
Now, were all of the photos shown to you males?
Yes.
Were they all African-American males?
Yeah.
Were they all generally the same size?
Roughly, yes. Except for the last 2.
Did they all have a beard?
I don't think the last one did, but some they have beard, some were not.
Did they have the same hair?
No, I think they're all old.
Do you need to see this?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Your Honor. I misheard him. Juan, do you see the person who robbed you on October 26, 2021, and the person that you identified in the photo lineup on November 4th, 2021 in the courtroom today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please point to him and identify him by a piece of clothing?
Yeah, it's wearing the orange shirt.
Your Honor, may the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant. We'll pass the witness, Judge.
Defense.
Mr. Gonzalez, have you reviewed anything in preparation for your testimony here today?
Yeah, just a question that was answered.
What questions are those, sir?
Oh, the ones right now.
Oh, no, but by reviewed anything, I mean, did you look at anything before you came in to testify today?
No, just those questions that she answered, and that's it.
Those, just to be sure, just because I want to make sure we're communicating here, you didn't like get those questions in writing, right?
No.
You're just talking about the testimony. Am I correct?
I'm not sure we're trying to ask them.
I want to know if you looked at anything or reviewed anything, statements, reports, those pictures, anything before you sat down in that chair there.
As far as today, I just looked at basically the pictures that she showed me. Those pictures that I saw them when I went to the police station to identify the defendant.
When you went into the police station to identify someone from those photographs, was it you or someone else who picked out the wrong photograph?
What do you mean? I picked number 2.
Do you have any knowledge about what Carlos Lopez or Abraham Rivera might have selected?
I believe Carlos didn't want to press any, he didn't want to be involved with this. And Abraham he did went to the police station.
So was it you or Abraham who picked the wrong person out of the photo lineup?
I believe it was Abraham, but I picked the right person.
Now, when you picked a person, did you give a statement in writing about how you picked that person?
I do not recall, honestly.
Can I approach, Judge?
Yes.
I wanted to make sure there wasn't glass. Is that your handwriting?
Yes.
When you read that, does that refresh your memory about whether or not you gave a statement to the police the day that you picked the photo out of the photographic lineup?
Yes. I wrote that down.
And
Hold on. Repeat your answer.
Excuse me, to the witness, make sure that you speak into the microphone that's in front of you.
My bad. I apologize.
if I may, just to clear the record, Judge, I'll ask the question again.
Yes.
Do you now remember giving a statement in writing to the police officer at the time that you identified the photograph?
Yes, sir.
And is it fair to say that you told the police officer in your own handwriting, I believe that photo number 2 is him because he resembles the man of the crime scene?
Yes, that's right.
So you didn't write, I'm positive, you said he resembles the man of the crime scene, correct?
Yes.
And you could have written anything you wanted to write down. This was your handwritten statement about what had happened to you, and I'm sorry for what happened to you some 2 weeks earlier, am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you know before you took the witness stand here today that Mr. McDaniel had been found driving your Ford pickup truck?
Yes.
Did that help in your mind to reassure you that it wasn't just the man who resembles the man at the crime scene, but perhaps was the person? Did that influence your ability to recognize him as your robber here in court today?
At the time when I went ahead and identified the pictures, I didn't know his name. If that makes sense. So I remember the next day I was called by the police saying that they found my truck, and they told me how does the suspect look, and I gave them a description of the picture, basically, and then that's how they were able to detain him. Because prior to the police arresting him, they called me saying, how does the suspect look? And I gave the description of what the picture looks on number 2, and that's how they were able to detain him.
But you didn't write in your statement, I am sure that this is the man, or even simply, this is the man, but you wrote, I believe photo number 2 is him because he resembles the man at the crime scene.
Yeah, I wrote that down because at the time, well, I never even been in the lineup to begin with. And then 2, I was watching the first time, but I wasn't too sure what to write down, whether, yes or no.
What first drew your attention to this person in the parking lot that evening when you were at your AA meeting?
Oh, what drew my attention? I looked left. I saw somebody walking towards us.
Did you hear the sound of we call it the slide. Some people might say the cocking of the gun or the slide of the gun. Is that what drew your attention? The sound? Is that why you looked to your left?
No, actually, when I looked left, I saw him sliding and I heard the gun big slide.
Did you provide that evening a description of whoever robbed you to the police?
Yes.
Did you describe that person by height?
Yeah, like 5'7", 5'8".
Did you describe that person by weight?
Yeah, it's fairly thin, kind of,
Were you concerned, for that matter, are you concerned about issues of cross-racial misidentification?
What do you mean, like?
Are you familiar with the concept of cross-racial misidentification?
No, I am not.
Do you believe it's easier for you to remember the appearance of a person who is Anglo or Hispanic than it is to remember the appearance of a person who is African American or Asian?
Well, at the time, like I said, like I was in shock, can't really, I was just focusing like whatever on the gun mostly. I got a slight, some resemblance from his face. And that's how I was able to describe it to the police.
It's only natural to be looking at the gun when someone's threatening you with a gun, is that correct?
Yes, but I did try to get a glance at his face as well, because I think it's important. A lot of people just focus on the threat, not necessarily the suspect.
Did you know Carlos Lopez or Abraham Rivera, other than from your AA meetings?
Just from the AA, that's it. We don't really, I don't talk to anybody outside of AA. Try to keep it anonymous.
Do you recall if Carlos Lopez or Abraham Rivera were primarily Spanish speakers?
I believe so. I know Carlos speaks English. Abraham, I think he does kind of. But most of the time, like I said, it's a Spanish AA meeting, so.
So in order to participate, you had to understand Spanish.
Yes. I mean, anybody can go actually, you don't have to be speaking Spanish or English. You can go to speak Japanese if you wanted to.
Would work so well.
Yeah.
Sir, let me ask you, did you and Abraham talk together about this incident since it happened?
Yes, we have.
How many times?
Not that often, honestly.
When's the last time you saw Abraham?
I saw Abraham maybe a couple days ago.
Do you see him regularly?
No, because he goes to that group. I was just visiting the AA group.
When you saw him a couple of days ago, did you talk about the possibility that you might be testifying here today?
That was in the conversation, but I actually left because I was exhausted from work. I usually get out 6 in the morning. AA meeting starts at 11. I just do my service, and I told him like, you know what, I gotta go.
But you know that Abraham was the one, not you, who picked the wrong person out of the photo lineup.
I was told that I picked the right one. He picked the wrong one.
You were told that you picked the right one.
Correct.
And he picked the wrong one.
Yes.
Who's to say you picked the right one, other than the fellow who happened to be driving the car?
What do you mean?
Ask the witness, Judge.
State.
Yes, Judge, briefly. One, did you ever have any doubt when you were looking at the photo lineup that the person you identified was the man who pulled the gun on you and robbed you?
No, I didn't have any doubt.
And do you have any doubt that the defendant sitting in the courtroom today is the man that pulled the gun on you and robbed you?
No, I don't have any doubt.
Nothing further, Judge.
No more questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse for the state, Your Honor.
Defense, excused or subject to recall?
We do not intend to recall him, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused. State, call your next witness.
State calls Officer Christopher Cummings. Did you sign it?
All right, if you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Christopher Cummings.
All right, state.
Officer Cummings, how are you currently employed?
With the San Antonio Police Department.
And how long have you been employed with the San Antonio Police Department?
A little over 4 years.
And were you working on October 26th of 2021?
Yes.
And did you receive a call to respond to Zarza Morris Street?
Yes, I did.
And is that here in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes, it's here in the city of San Antonio.
What was the dispatch that you were responding to?
It was for a report of a robbery in progress.
What did you observe when you arrived on scene?
So when I arrived, I had 3 individuals who later found to be the victims. I started separating them, started gathering statements, and determined that a robbery had occurred.
Do you remember the 3 people that you separated to get statements from?
I don't remember the names off the top of my head.
And you can refer to your report if you need to.
I don't have a copy of it there.
Your Honor, may I approach? Just please don't read them. Okay, Officer Cummings, do you remember the 3 victims that you separated that night?
Yes.
Okay, and what were their names?
There was Juan, Carlos, and Abraham. Or do you need the full names or just the first names? Fine.
Can you give us the full names, please?
Sure. So I identified Juan Gonzalez, Carlos Antonio Lopez, and Abraham Rivera.
And did you speak to all 3 of them?
Initially, yes. I didn't. After I separated them, I believe I only spoke to 2 to get their full statements, and then other officers spoke to the 3rd one.
Which 2 did you speak to?
According to my report, I spoke to victim number 1, who is Juan Gonzalez, and victim number 2, who was Carlos Antonio Lopez.
And after speaking to all of the victims there, what was the crime that was committed?
Robert, aggravated robbery.
And was there a vehicle that was missing as part of that robbery?
There was.
Do you remember the description of that vehicle?
It was a green Ford Ranger.
And when there's a vehicle that is stolen, does SAPD have a system to report those stolen vehicles that other agencies can see?
Yes, I remember the acronyms NCIC, TCIC, it's the National Crime Information Center, I believe, off the top of my head. So whenever a vehicle is reported stolen, we can put the VIN number, the license plate, and a description of the vehicle into that system. It's not actually the officer that does it, it's gonna be one of our service agents, but they put it into the system.
Okay, and did you enter that in this case?
It would have been one of the service agents.
Were you able to apprehend any suspects on that date?
No, not that night.
We'll pass the witness, Judge.
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.
You're muted, Judge.
Thank you. Is this witness excused or subject to recall?
Excused, Your Honor.
State.
Excuse, Judge.
All right, thank you. State, call your next witness.
Judge, the state will call SAPD Officer Flores.
All right, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if you could lower your hand and state your name for the record, please.
Detective Matthew Flores.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Yes, Judge. Detective Flores, can you introduce yourself to the court?
Yes, my name is Detective Matthew Flores. I work with the San Antonio Police Department. I've been working with them for a little over 13 years. I am currently assigned to the robbery task force.
And just briefly, can you tell the court what the robbery task force does?
Yes, the robbery task force investigates crimes with robbery and aggravated robbery. Usually if a call comes out, patrol officers will make the scene. If it is determined that the elements of the offense of robbery or aggravated robbery take place, that case will come to our desk. And sometimes we'll even make the scene as well of the aggravated robberies. Basically, when we make the scene, there are certain things that we do. Speak with the witnesses, get surveillance video, along those lines.
On November 8th of last year, November 8th of 2021, were you dispatched to a call, or I guess were you involved in a situation where you responded to a call regarding a robbery that had occurred previously?
Yes, sir, I was. There was a detective in the field that was investigating the case, and he had advised the other detectives in the field that he observed a stolen vehicle. This is all the radio transmission that we're hearing it. So a plan was set up to keep eyes on the stolen vehicle. To my knowledge, the stolen vehicle was involved in an aggravated robbery. So myself and another detective was inside my truck, and we were in the area of the stolen vehicle. Once the vehicle became mobile, detective relayed that 2 individuals got into the vehicle, and our helicopter, which we refer to as Eagle, followed that stolen vehicle to a pawn shop where myself and Detective Tullis, along with other patrolmen, were in the area. I was actually in that parking lot when we saw the vehicle park and the 2 occupants go into the pawn shop.
And did you write a report regarding this incident?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay. Do you recall the location where this pawn shop that this happened at? Do you recall the address?
May I see my report, please?
Sure. Would looking at your report help to refresh your memory?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm trying to be loud for Brenna, but would State's Exhibit number 4, is that a copy of the report we're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And in refreshing your memory from your report, does it indicate the address where you came into contact with that vehicle?
Yes, sir. It is a 2906 West Commerce. There's a pawn shop there.
You mentioned that you were assisting another detective who had relayed information to you. I don't recall. Did you say what his name was?
Detective Medrano.
Was Detective Medrano or you the primary detective on this particular case?
I believe it was Detective Medrano.
State's Exhibit number 4, your report is a supplement to a larger report, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Would being able to review the larger report, is that where all the identifiers of individuals who you encountered during this interaction, would it be on Detective Medrano's report, which your report is a supplement to?
Yes, sir.
May I approach?
Yes.
Handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 5 is that Detective Medrano's report that involves the same case as your State's Exhibit number 4 supplement to the larger report.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I believe you said where you were at the location of the pawn shop, and you said 2 individuals were in the vehicle?
Yes, sir, a male and a female.
And you said they went into the pawn shop?
Yes, sir. Eagle or helicopter relayed that they went into the pawn shop. Eagle also relayed to us that the 2 individuals were walking out of the pawn shop going towards the stolen vehicle. And that is when I took action.
And by take action, what did you do?
So I started driving towards the pawn shop front entrance. Myself and Detective Tullis, our initial plan was to cut off the front door to make sure those 2 individuals did not go back into that building for safety of the citizens inside that pawn shop. At the time, the 2 occupants entered the stolen vehicle. The male was a driver of that stolen vehicle, and the female got into the front right passenger. There was no patrol units addressing the vehicle at the time, so I made the decision in my covert truck, which is just a Dodge Ram, to exit my vehicle, park on the driver's side of the stolen vehicle, and address the defendant to have him get out of the vehicle. And the reason why I did that is I didn't want a chase to happen and possibly injure someone.
And so you made the decision to make the stop then. What are you wearing on this particular day?
So I'm wearing plain clothes, but I do have my police vest on that's equipped with a camera, and on the front of my vest it does say police. And I did identify myself as a police officer when I was addressing the driver.
All right. And so you made contact with the driver, who I'm assuming is the driver the male you're referring to?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And do you identify that male at some point?
He is later identified. Once he's placed in the handcuffs, he is later identified.
And who's he identified as?
Frederick McDaniel.
Okay. Do you recognize the person who you detained here in the courtroom today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Could you point at him and identify him by an article of clothing of the person you identified in the green Ford Ranger on that day?
Yes, it's the black male here and the orange suit, mustache.
After you detain the individual in the Ford Ranger, do y'all confirm that this is the Ford Ranger that had been reported missing from the earlier incident?
Yes, that was confirmed the moment Detective Medrano observed the vehicle based on the license plate, to my knowledge.
On this particular day, so at that point you detained Frederick McDaniel. Is there anything else you do at the scene on that particular day?
No, sir. Once he was placed in the handcuffs, I remained on scene. I believe we had other things going on in San Antonio, other robberies that we had to address. But as far as any investigative action, that was the most I did on this incident.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense?
2 or 3 short questions, sir. It goes without saying, you don't know how Mr. McDaniel came into possession of this truck, am I correct? You don't have any personal knowledge?
No, sir. No.
Obviously, you're not a witness to that.
That's correct.
Do you recall any of these 3 witnesses giving a physical description of the person who had taken the truck? You weren't part of that, right?
No, sir. I did not speak to any witnesses. My only involvement was the recovery.
Sorry, sir. Didn't mean to interrupt. Thank you. Pass the witness.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing from defense, Judge.
All right, is this witness excused?
From the state's perspective, yes, Judge.
We don't
Defense?
intend to recall him, Your Honor.
All right, you're excused.
Thank you.
State, call your next witness.
Judge, the state would call Detective Valadez.
And State, is this your last witness or no?
It is our last witness, Judge.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Robert Valadez.
All right, State?
Yes, Judge. Detective Valadez, can you introduce yourself to the court and tell the judge who you work for?
I am Detective Robert Valadez. I am I'm a detective with the Robbery Task Force Unit in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay. Detective Valadez, how long have you worked for SAPD?
I have been on the department 29 years. 11 years I spent working patrol east. Got promoted in 2004 or so. I then went to the crime scene unit where I was there for almost a year, and then I transferred from there to sex crimes, which is now special victims unit. I spent about 14 years there. And then I transferred to the robbery task force unit where I've been there for about 3.5 years.
And what I have you here to talk about today, Detective Valadez, is a photo lineup. Is part of your duties to occasionally administer a photo lineup as an SAPD officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And regarding the case that I'm talking about, were you asked to administer a photo lineup?
Yes, sir, I was.
And can you tell me, is this something that you have been trained to do as a SAPD detective?
Correct.
And does SAPD have a written protocol for how to administer a photo lineup?
Correct.
Okay. Did you make a report regarding this case, regarding your administration of the lineup?
Yes, sir, I believe I prepared a supplement.
May I approach you?
Yes.
Detective Medrano, I handed you 2 documents, one of them being
Detective who?
I'm sorry, Detective Valadez. I'm sorry, I got Medrano on the head. Medrano was one of the detectives involved in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Detective Valadez, I handed you State's Exhibit number 6. Is that your report regarding this particular administration of a lineup, I guess?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I also showed you State's Exhibit number 2. Is that a copy of the lineup that was actually given to the witness in this case?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me who the witness was who you administered the lineup to in this case?
Mr. Martin Gonzalez.
All right. And can you tell the court in regards to conducting this witness lineup, what do you know going into it? How do you get assigned it? And what's the process for conducting a witness lineup?
So on November the 4th, 2020, I believe it was, 2021. 21. Detective Medrano, who used to work for our department, he approached me. He's on the other team, set of RDs. So he came to me and he said that he had a case that he's working, and he asked if I would not mind showing the lineup. And I didn't know anything about the case, anything about the suspect, anything about the victim. I said, of course, that's how we generally are. We approach one another in times like this for the purposes of presenting lineups.
We make sure that we, as a procedures he was asking, that if there is a person that's not aware of the case or has seen the photo lineup that was prepared, we usually ask them to present our lineups. So in this case, I didn't know anything about the case. I didn't know who the suspect was at the time. And I did not know the position the photo was in the lineup. I then contacted the witness in the case, Martin Gonzalez. I read him the instructions that are provided verbatim. I know the times, he understood. I showed him the document saying you can read it yourself or sign here saying you're agreeing. He signed it, and I presented the lineup. It was a lined up because I presented it in a position where I couldn't see the photos, and I also did not have any knowledge who the suspect was.
And I guess all these protocols you're talking about, you not knowing about the case, you not being able to see these things, these are to try to avoid any undue influence you have if you know who the actual suspect is, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
go ahead. And so in doing that, you give him the blind lineup. Does he make, let's say that again?
It's blinded.
Blinded lineup, I apologize. Does he identify one of the suspects as the individual who he said robbed him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And which individual did, which number photo did he identify?
Photo number 2.
So how is the process at that point? You don't know whether number 2 is the suspect or someone else, correct?
Correct.
How do you find out if that individual is the suspect or not?
I don't think I found out that he was the suspect. You know, he signed, I signed, we dated. In this case, I presented the case jacket or the package back to Detective Medrano. Gave the package to him. I had no knowledge who the suspect identification was at the time. All I know is he selected photo number 2 as the person who had committed the crime. And then the Detective Medrano had asked me to take a statement there afterwards. I had no clue that I was going to take a statement afterwards. I guess he had asked me to do it since he was there, and I think he was out of the office. I don't recall.
On State's Exhibit number 2, the lineup page, there's a page where the witness makes a like a 2-page, or I'm sorry, like a little 2-sentence identification, correct?
Correct.
And what does that say?
It says, I believe photo number 2 is him because he resembles the man of the crime scene.
From your training and experience in the procedures of SAPD, was that him selecting subject number 2?
Yes, sir. Okay, so what he mentioned to me, I remember this one.
Objection to hearsay.
Sustained.
And Mr. Valadez, we won't get into directly what he says, but
so yes, that is correct.
Okay. You said that you take his statement after that. Is there anything else that you do in regards to this particular case?
No, sir.
State will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
Hi, Detective. Do you guys always have someone who's unaware, disinterested, such as yourself, conduct the lineups, or are these photographic arrays sometimes presented by the detective who's actually running it?
It's not always presented in a manner like it was this time. At times, because the case may be a high-profile case or a case where they've committed multiple offenses that multiple detectives or we are all aware of the cases in the office. Yes, it becomes a little difficult for us to have someone that doesn't know the case or may not know who the suspect is.
You might try to do it this way whenever it's possible. Is that
Correct.
what you're
Yes, sir.
saying?
Yes, sir.
In your policies and procedures regarding conducting a photo array lineup, is there a policy against telling the person whether or not he's identified the target?
I'm not familiar with all the wording on the policy. I'm not sure if you have to identify him or not.
Forgetting about the exact language, is there a policy that says you don't tell the guy that he got the right guy or the wrong guy? You just make a note of who it was that he identified. Is that the way it's supposed to go down?
I'm not sure if that's exactly, but I follow the rules that are on the form.
Would it be wrong for somebody, a police officer, to reward a witness by saying you got the right guy?
Oh, yes, of course. I wouldn't.
They're not supposed to do that, right?
I'm not sure if you are supposed to identify the person afterwards. I know that when you do a field ID, which is a different kind of format, you then identify the name and the date of birth of the person too.
That's a one-on-one, a field ID.
That's
right?
correct,
You know,
yeah. But I'm not sure of if you were to ask me what the policy is word for word, of course, I would not know what all the words are. Right?
But you wouldn't agree personally that you should tell a guy, you got the right guy. You'd stay away from that.
I have never done that. Let me just say that.
And do you know if in this incident, any other officer, I know you said you didn't do it, but do you know if any other officer told Juan Gonzalez, you picked the right guy?
No, sir, I have no knowledge of anyone did that.
Did you also do the photographic array for the other witness, Abraham Rivera?
No, sir.
So you have no knowledge about what transpired in that particular photo array presentation, correct?
Correct.
Thanks, Detective. Pass the witness.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor, may he be excused.
All right,
No
defense.
objection, Judge.
All right, the witness is excused. State, call your next witness.
Judge, that'll be all the witnesses the state has.
Defense.
Defense rests, Judge.
All right, state, do you close?
Yes, Judge, state would close.
Defense close.
As well, Judge, yes.
All right, the court will hear argument. State.
Judge, just briefly, Judge, I believe we heard from 5 witnesses. Obviously, the new number ones are an unauthorized use and an aggravated robbery. Judge, we had the victim identify the defendant here in the courtroom of committing an aggravated robbery as he was outside of his AA meeting. He came up, tried to steal one vehicle, shot a round off into one of the vehicles, and then took his green Ford Ranger. That vehicle or that defendant was apprehended in that same vehicle by Officer Flores, who identified this defendant as the person who he apprehended in that vehicle that had been stolen. In addition, the victim identified the defendant in the photo lineup, Judge. Nonetheless, it is a case where he stole a green Ford Ranger and is caught in it. He's identified, he's on probation for evading out of your court. I believe that he committed the offense of aggravated robbery, a violent offense, and he committed the unauthorized use of Juan Gonzalez's vehicle, Judge. I believe we proved this beyond a preponderance of evidence. He's been identified. He was found in the vehicle. Judge, we would ask you to find both violations true.
All right, defense.
Judge, you really only heard from one witness who saw what happened. That one witness used very equivocal language in his own written statement. He said, I believe photo number 2 is him because he resembles the man of the crime scene. That witness could have written anything in his own handwriting there. These are the words he chose to write, that he resembles the man of the crime scene. You've also heard that that same photographic array was presented to another witness, Abraham Rivera, who picked the wrong person from the photo. You've heard from Juan Gonzalez that he was focused primarily on the gun. Later, when Mr. McDaniel was found driving the Ford pickup truck, when he was found driving it, Mr. Gonzalez was told by some officer, you picked the right guy. The situation snowballed. Mr. McDaniel's driving the car, that doesn't mean that he took the car or that he took the car at gunpoint, nor does it mean that he knew he wasn't supposed to be driving the car. I'd ask the court to find that the state has not proven the case by preponderance of the evidence, deny the motion to revoke, and allow us to take any other charges out of this incident before a jury.
All right. The court will find violation of conditions 1 and 1 true. Is there an agreement with regards to sentencing?
There's no agreement, Judge. I can make an argument as to that briefly.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
Judge, my understanding is his underlying sentence is 4 years. Judge, we put him, this court, he was put on probation on October 18th of 2021. He waited 8 days to commit a violent offense against Martin Gonzalez by stealing his vehicle. We asked for you to give him all 4 years because he waited 8 days and committed 2 even more serious allegations than what he's on probation for. The state would be asking for 4 years.
All right, defense.
The burden of proof being a preponderance, the court having found by a preponderance that he's committed the offense, I ask you to allow us to take the case to a jury on a beyond the reasonable doubt standard. I recognize that you're going to revoke the probation. If you do, I ask that you reform the sentence to the minimum allowed by law for that offense, which is 2 on a 2 to 10 on the evading arrest with a motor vehicle.
All right. And Mr. Montgomery, did your client sign the trial court certification?
I have the trial court certification here, right? This is the judge advising you in writing what your right to an appeal is regarding this case. If you'll sign right here, sir. You, right there, it's all you're not, you're just, it's an acknowledgement. He has signed the acknowledgement and the certification of the defendant's right to appeal. Judge, I'm not checking any of the boxes unless you tell me to.
All right, thank you. Please do not check any of the boxes. So to the clerks, if I could have that paper, and also if I can have the consent to appear by video, please.
That document has been signed as well, Your Honor, and presented to the court clerk.
All right, thank you. Mr. McDaniel, the court will sentence you to 4 years in prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with Ari Fleet, A-R-I-F-L-E-E-T. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Not at this time, Judge.
All right, in just one moment. All right, Mr. McDaniel.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, because this is not a plea bargain agreement, you do have a limited right to appeal. And that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegations in the motion, not the fact that you were on community supervision. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And also, Mr. Fredericks, because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand? Mr. Frederick?
Yes, ma'am.
Frederick McDaniel, do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, do you have any questions, Mr. Frederick McDaniel? All right. Then Mr. McDaniel, they will take you back unless you need to speak with him, Mr. Montgomery.
Just a few moments, Judge.
All right, and Mr. Montgomery, I am correcting the defendant's name on the documents that was signed as far as the style and putting his full name and not just Fred.
Yes, Judge, I'm sorry about that. I was doing that at the same time as I was conducting the hearing.
No problem, I understand. All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Alexis Morganfield, I need a trial date for him, please. And Mr. Stevenson, my understanding, you received an offer in this case, is that correct?
I have not received an offer. My client is still trying to communicate with Williamson County, his counterparts there, regarding a companion case in Williamson County, and at this time has not yet extended an offer. He said that we are close to going to trial, but indicated that we were not quite there yet. That'd be Mr.
Who is this, Mr. Villarreal?
Michael Villarreal.
Judge, just for clarification, there is a pending case in Williamson County. I've spoken to the prosecutor there. We're attempting to find an agreement that wraps up all of the cases. And so my understanding is that the defendant might even be bench warranted to Williamson County, but obviously we're at the court's discretion.
All right, so are you prepared to give them an offer?
I can give an offer that does not include the Williamson County case.
Okay. All right, Ms. Ferguson. On Mr. Alexis Morganfield, your jury trial date is going to be June 21st. Whatever offers you all want to present, you all are more than welcome to present that. But his jury trial and plea deadline date is going to be June 21st.
Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to be joining my family on a family road trip to visit relatives. We're going to be gone the last week of June, the first week of July. The date that you've given is less than a week from when we're supposed to be gone, and this trial could be several-day trial.
All right,
So
Ms. Ferguson, when are you leaving, Mr. Stevenson?
It will be we will be gone the last week of June and the first week of July.
Okay, just one moment.
So if we could put this into the second week of July, then I don't believe we'll have a problem.
We can put it at the beginning of June. We can put it the week of June 6th.
Your Honor, it would be in my client's best interest to have it later.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but this case has been going on since 2021.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
If the court is happy with June the 21st, then we will find a way to make June 21st work. No, what date did you say in June, Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Did you
we
say
can
21st?
put it. Yes, we can put it at the beginning of June, so that will be all of May and a majority of April. So we will put it at that.
I believe you said June 21st as an offer. Is that what you said first, Your Honor?
First, I said June 21st, and then I'm saying now we can do it June 7th.
Okay. Your Honor, after considering and looking at my materials here, we accept June 21st.
Okay. All right, we will do it then on June 21st. Do you need to speak with Mr. Morganfield?
Not at this time. Did Your Honor receive the signed agreed orders from the prosecutor on the bond motion?
Yes, and the court has signed those.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Nothing further for today. We thank you, and just to be certain, the deadline for pleas is the same day as the first trial setting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. May we be excused, Your Honor?
Yes, you're excused. Thank
you.
you. Norma, Mr. Alexis Morganfield can go back.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Sawyer.
Confer. So, okay, I'm unmuted, waiting for a prosecutor to confer on Gabriel Patlan.
Okay, we are going to get you someone now.
Well, someone
these are promises that I'm going to make. So Is there anyone available from Criminal Trial Division to confer with Mr. Sawyer? I'm going to send him to breakout room number 1.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And then Mr. Acevedo, who is your client?
Your Honor, Mr. Rocha,
Yes.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
family violence.
All right, I'm going to send you to number 2.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I've actually conferred already.
Okay, what is happening with your case?
Your Honor, subject to court approval. So Mr. Rocha was set last week, either Thursday or Friday, for a plea deadline. I advised the court was, I believe, starting a trial or in trial, that he was surrendering and he was at South Tower on a violation of a protective order warrant.
Yes.
And thereafter, the court received a violation report of the case that the court has of the violation of protective order. And at that time, the court remanded him without bond. The court had already was recalling it for today prior to that happening. I've conferred with the ADA, subject to court approval, if I may, given the new number 1, if I may have a plea extension deadline for 30 days, and Michael and I are going to discuss a resolution, but I haven't had sufficient time. Further, Michael and I, subject to court approval, have agreed if the court would set the bond from remand without bond to $30,000 and no contact with the complainant.
Is the complainant the same person in the new case?
I want to say yes, Your Honor.
I believe so, Judge, and I'm just double checking right now as we speak.
All right, before I do that, I'll need the complainant to come in. Because it appears, and Mr. Roach, I'm not taking any of this as true because I don't have any, I haven't received any evidence, but it appears there's an issue concerning your ability to maybe stay away from the complainant.
Yes, Your Honor. This was all texting and emailing, communicating, and I've advised him that if the court were to set a $30,000 bond and no contact, it is zero tolerance, no smoke signals, no texting, no emailing, no asking someone to call, completely nothing.
I'm still going to need to speak to the complainant before I allow Mr. Rocha to be released from custody.
Okay, so Michael will make that contact to let the court know, or how do you want to do this?
Oh, I'd like to view them on the screen.
Oh, okay, okay.
Judge, since it's 4:40, I'm assuming you'd want to do this on another day.
Yes.
When would you like us? I can have the complainant available via Zoom.
All right. Is tomorrow enough time for you, Mr. Villarreal, or no?
I'll make it work somehow.
If it doesn't work, let me know, because what we can do is we can put it in the afternoon tomorrow, or either we can do it a day later in the week.
Let me have Marina reach out, and if we can say it tomorrow, I'm sure we can get her here tomorrow, Judge.
All right. So, Mr. Acevedo, just remain in contact with the state and see when they're able to get in touch with the complainant, and then just contact Ms. Ferguson, and we'll put it on the docket.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right. Do you need to speak with Mr. Rocha?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll send you
Thank you.
to breakout room number 3. And Mr. Rocha, I'll send you to number 3.
Thank you.
And Mr. Appelt, I have Mr. Flores. And you're here for Segovia.
I am. There was just one thing I wanted to touch base with. And since I had been conferring earlier this morning with Ms. Sparks, that might help, but otherwise, whichever.
Okay. So you want to confer with Ms. Sparks?
She's familiar with the case and with our prior conference. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I will send you to number 2.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Who are the parties on Flores?
Ryan Grimmer.
Jay Norton, yes, ma'am.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 7923, State of Texas versus Eric Anthony Flores. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
for the
Jay,
defense?
Mr. Flores.
And are you Mr. Flores? I cannot hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state or the
None from the
defense?
state, Your Honor.
No, ma'am. No objections.
Flores, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes to both questions, ma'am.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Flores, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, I'm sorry, you're frozen up.
Am I frozen? I think you're frozen.
I think he might be frozen, Judge.
Brenna, is this where we say, I'm not frozen, you're frozen?
I see Ryan. I see you moving now.
And you know what? He's frozen because he's in the mountains. But,
Yeah.
all right. Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, ma'am.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We're not, Judge. We're actually proceeding on the lesser included of attempted felon in possession, a state jail felony.
Any objection?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Flores, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted felon in possession of a weapon? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
By entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has been able to assist, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
He is in my, sorry, I couldn't hear you again, Judge. I lost the last part, but if you're asking if I think he's competent and legally sane, he is in my opinion.
Mr. Flores, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Oh, yes, ma'am, for sure.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of attempted felon in possession of a firearm. They're asking your punishment be assessed at 12 months in the state jail facility. There's a $500 fine and there are no applications. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Judge.
Mr. Flores, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged, the lesser offense of attempted felon in possession of a weapon. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
State, any evidence?
State would offer State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No objection.
Mr. Flores, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty of attempted felon in possession of a firearm. Mr. Flores, my understanding is that you're to appear in court tomorrow. Is that correct, Mr. Flores?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we will see you in court tomorrow, and then at that time, the court will make a decision on whether or not the court will follow this plea bargaining agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The courtroom is located at 300 De La Rosa. It's on the 4th floor. Do you understand?
I'm fourth floor.
All right, 187th District Court. All right,
What
thank
time,
you.
Your Honor?
If he is there in the morning at 9 a.m., we'll take that up first thing.
Okay, and I assume you want me in court in person as well?
Yes, you can be either in person or by Zoom.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You can be in person or by Zoom. Your attorney your client just needs to be in person.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge,
May I
I
be
think
excused
chat.
today?
Yes, you may be excused.
Okay.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right. You're welcome. All right, Ms. Burke, who do you have?
Your Honor, I may be excused too.
Yes, you may be excused.
Okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Patricia Bettis, she should be on the call, the Zoom.
Okay, and how is she listed?
It's a woman, and I don't know if her name says Patricia Perez or not. You want to ask her if she's Patricia Bettis?
There is no one on the Zoom. Yeah, she's not here.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put myself on mute, and I'm gonna call her and ask her where she is, because I gave her to join.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Kathy Compton.
Judge, I have actually been conferring with Marcus Sanders. I know he's not here, but Mr. Washington's case is one that I had been having ongoing discussions with Marcus about. I am probably a week or so out from receiving the full report from my expert, which the court had allowed me funds to have work with Mr. Washington.
All right, Ms. Ferguson on Washington, can I have a 30-day reset, please?
That's all I need, Judge. And if I can speak with my client before I go, that would be great.
All right, we're going to come back on May 9th.
Sounds good. And if we can work it out before then, Judge, I'll just let Norma know.
All right. And Mr. Washington, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. And if there is a prosecutor from Criminal Trial Division available to go to number 1, please.
Judge, I'll go there. If you could make me co-host, Judge.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
And me too, Judge. This is Brittany.
All right, thank you.
And Judge, I just sent you a chat.
All right, thank you. All right, I'm going to send you to number 3. And let me just find Mr. Washington. Mr. Washington, I have 2 Washingtons. Could you raise your hand for me, please, Mr. Washington? Okay, Tavia. Now, who has the attorney who's Miss Compton? Is it Tavian Washington?
That's him raising his hand there, Judge.
All right, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. And Kathy Compton, I'll send you to number 3.
And can we both leave from there, Judge, or does he
No,
need to come back?
you'll have to have him come back to the main room.
Okay, I'll let him know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Ferguson, where is Pat Montgomery?
I don't know, Judge. I thought he was still in the courtroom.
All right, could you have him come back because he has Mr. Hinojosa, who has several cases on the docket. All right, Ms. Huggins, I'm being told that everything should be completed for you by this week. So we're going to recall you back on Monday just to make sure everything is done. Is that enough time, Ms. Reyes?
I would do later in the next week just to make sure.
All right. We can do probably then the 25th.
Okay, sounds good, Judge.
Okay. All right, and Ms. Ferguson, can I get a 30-day reset on McDaniel for the aggravated robbery case, please? Yes, Ms. Hutchins.
My excuseness?
Yes. Norma L21 can go back. Michael Sawyer.
Judge, I don't know how you do it. You look fresh as can be.
Aw, you're so awesome. Thank you.
I've just conferred with the state. It appears this case may be involved in a bigger case, in which he's not a defendant, but could be a possible witness. The state wants further time to look the case over and see how they all fit together. That should be fine with me. It's involved in something a little bit bigger. I want to know about it.
All right. On Catalan, then Ms. Ferguson, can we bring this back on May 16th as well?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll come back on the 16th.
Judge, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you.
All right, have a good one.
I will.
All right, Norma Patlon, L2 can go back. Mr. Patlon, we'll see you back on May 16th. Alfonso Otero.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for your patience. Yes, Mr. Otero,
Yes, I'm here.
who do you have?
I have Mr. Washington, Judge.
Criminal Trial Division or Family Violence?
That's the trial division.
I'll send you to number 1.
Thank you.
All right, Pat Montgomery, you have Mr. Hinojosa as well.
Oh, yes, ma'am. That case, there's a murder indictment that is 3 weeks old. When I spoke to Mr. Groomer much earlier this morning, he told me that there was no way he could be ready on that indictment that's 3 weeks old. So now I know there are some other cases that predate that murder, but it seems like the murder's driving the train, you know?
All right, do you have, I'm sorry, Mr. Germer, yes?
Yeah, Judge, based on now that we know it's indicted, I told Pat, I'm gonna get with the next of kin, and I guess we can make a package offer. Hopefully by the upcoming Senate setting would be the plan.
All right, is a 60-day reset too long for you, Mr. Montgomery?
No, ma'am, I'd ask for more, but I know you wouldn't do that. So 60 days is just fine.
All right, that's just to see where we are. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 60-day reset on Michael Hinojosa, please?
And I'm not driving, Judge. I'm in the parking garage.
I don't see you moving. I don't see any trees passing.
There are no trees in the parking garage, although it would spruce up the place a bit.
Okay. All right, so we're going to come back on June 13th.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
if more time is needed, just let the court know.
Will do.
All right, thank you.
Excuse, Judge. See you.
Yes. Mr. Hinojosa, we'll bring you back on June 13th. Your attorney will be speaking with you. All right, Norma Hinojosa, 17F can go back. Joseph Appelt.
Yes, Your Honor. On Kathleen Segovia, we do have an agreed recommendation, I believe, that we can move forward with on this. There's actually two motions for a revocation because she has two cases pending.
Okay, so if you get that information to me, we can do it today, or either we can do it tomorrow.
Let's knock it out today, Judge, if you're willing to do so.
All right, then as soon as the paperwork is given to me, we'll take that matter up.
And I don't have the paperwork yet, but I know I need to get it. So let me, I'll look forward to my email.
All right, I don't want to be accused of violating any child labor laws. So it's almost 5 o'clock. So I'm hoping we will have this done by 5:15.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And then Mr. Alvarado, who is your attorney?
John Young.
All right.
That was one of the first ones.
Yeah, just give me a moment.
In that case, you recall tomorrow for trial, Judge.
Yes. So we'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Alvarado.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Norma, 17E can go back. Ms. Ferguson, what day are you bringing Mr. John Pettis back?
Thursday.
Deputy Laura, can I see you briefly, please?
On my way.
Thank you. Yes. All right, Jacqueline Lamerson. Jacqueline Lamerson.
Yes, Judge, I'm here. I was kicked off the Zoom. I've not gotten to confer. I have a PTD case.
All right, we're going to have to recall that because it's 5:13. So if you want to confer, I can have you come back tomorrow.
That's fine, Judge.
Just one moment, Ms. Lamerson. I'm being asked to hold off on the case. Yes, just one moment.
Excuse me, Judge, may I be excused?
All right, Ms. Lamerson, we're going to see you back on your case on tomorrow.
Yes,
at 2 p.m.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Judge, you said at what time?
2 p.m.
That is correct.
Yes, and we're ready on Segovia. All right, is there a prosecutor available? All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 2613 and 2021 CR 0765W, State of Texas versus Kathleen Segovia. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Joseph Uphelt.
Are you Ms. Segovia?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
No objection.
Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Segovia, in each of these cause numbers, did you sign documents entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference? And did you review those documents with your attorney and did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am, I did, Your Honor.
Court will find in each of the cause numbers that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. In each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them?
Yes, ma'am, I did, Your Honor.
Cause number 2021 CR 0765W. Are you the same Kathleen Michelle Segovia who's placed on community supervision for the offense of possession of identifying, well, fraudulent use or possession of identifying information less than 5 items on January 29, 2021 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And are you the same Kathleen Michelle Segovia who's placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 2613 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams on January 29, 2021 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
State, are you proceeding on the same allegation in each motion?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Defense, any objection to the state reading one allegation and your client's plea is for both motions?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge, violated condition number 2 on or about the 17th day of December 2021 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Kathleen Michelle Segovia, did then and there illegally use a controlled substance, namely cocaine, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that in each of the motions, true or not true?
True.
State.
Violated condition number 2 on or about the 30th day of January 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Kathleen Michelle Segovia, did then and there admit to using a controlled substance, namely marijuana, in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that, true or not true?
True. We're going to waive all other violations.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor, no objections.
Ms. Segovia, did you understand by pleading true to numbers 2 and 2 and cause number 2020 CR 2613? Court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 5 years in prison and up to $1,000.
Yes, ma'am, I did, Your Honor.
Do you understand by pleading true to violations 2 and 2 and cause number 2021 CR 0765W? Court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 1 year in the state jail facility and up to $1,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Knowing that in each of the cause numbers, do you still wish to plead true to violations 2 and 2?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find 2 and 2 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking that you deny the motion and alter and amend to include dual diagnosis outpatient treatment.
Is that the agreement?
It is, Your Honor. That's our agreed recommendation to the court.
Ms. Segovia, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, the court will follow your agreement and each of the cause numbers. The court will deny the state's motion. And the court will alter and amend conditions to include dual diagnosis outpatient.
Thank you.
Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Ms. Reyes, is there anything else that she needs?
I just need to meet with her in a breakout room.
All right, Ms. Segovia, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Segovia, here's the thing. We're giving you all the help you can get, right?
Yes.
So you need to make sure that if there's some issue with drug use or whatever it is, you need to reach out and let people know you need help with that. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, good luck to you, Ms. Segovia. Ms. Segovia, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, thank you, you too. Mr. Appelt, you can go to number 2 or you can give me an excuse. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Judge.
And Brenna, I do believe we're going to stop live stream. I think Michael Villarreal, you came back from your vacation, your honeymoon, and you come back and you're here till 5:19 p.m. Brenna, do you know when I was growing up, you know, as a child, when you have vacation, I'm about to tell something my mom is now going to know. You know, you come back from Christmas vacation and then it's like, I can't do a full day. I know I'm only in elementary school, but I feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders to complete all these assignments. So do you know my mom would allow me after every holiday, I would only do a half day at school, sort of easing my way back in.
So are you trying to tell me I only have to do a half day, Judge?
Oh, no, I'm just telling you the reason why this happens is because it's making up for my half days of time in school.
Ms. Boyd, could I speak with you, please, with all due respect?
Oh, yes, you can, with all due respect.
My name is Christopher Washington. I have not had any contact with my attorney. I've been incarcerated for.
Who's your attorney?
His name is Alfonso Arturo.
Oh, Mr. Arturo is in a breakout room, in breakout room number 1. So he's here.
Oh, okay. So will I be able to?
Yes, you'll get a chance to speak with him today. I will stay on here till 8 p.m. if need be, so that you may speak with him. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you with all of my heart. And so, like, I really would like to talk to you because I've been watching you, and I have my patience in my pocket, and I'm willing to do whatever the court wants me to do so that we can.
Hey, I appreciate it, but you know what? Don't ever throw your soul into anything. My mom always would say, your soul is sacred. So don't barter with that, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, you're welcome. We're gonna stop live stream and we're gonna be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. But Mr. Washington, as I said before, we're gonna stay and give you a chance to speak to your attorney, but we're gonna stop live stream so that Brenda can have her break and everyone else can get their break, okay?
And may I be excused, ma'am? The other Washington.
Okay, the other Washington. Who was your attorney?
It was Kathy Compton.
All right, yes, you may be excused, Mr. Washington.
Thank you, and y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye. And Norma, that's 17K.